Why the Bible and not the Quran? Is the only reason I believe the Bible because I'm a Christian? Well, no, I think there are very good reasons to trust the Bible and not to trust the Quran. Let me list 5 for you very briefly. Number 1, manuscripts. We have thousands and upon thousands of ancient manuscripts of the Bible, in some cases dating back to within decades of the time they were written. Now, scholars using a discipline known as textual criticism have spent centuries poring over those manuscripts, studying them, and because of that work, we can be supremely confident that the Bible we have today is more or less the same as it was written originally. What about the Quran? Well, we cannot be so confident because of a problem. According to the Muslim histories themselves, in AD 634, the third ruler of the Muslim community after the death of Muhammad, his name was the Caliph Uthman, he ordered that every Quranic manuscript that did not agree with his copy of the Quran should be burnt and utterly destroyed. And because of that bonfire of the manuscripts, we can't get behind what he did and be sure that the text that we have today is the same as Muhammad's Quran. We simply cannot know. Secondly, the Quran fails to meet its own standard. The Quran claims to be the very word of God, descended directly from heaven with no human involvement. God literally wrote it. But the problem is when you study the Quran academically, as for example I did in my PhD work, you can see the fingerprints of human authorship all over it. It doesn't meet its standard. What about the Bible? Well, Christians have always claimed that the Bible is the Word of God, but breathed through the human authors. And so it doesn't come to any surprise that we see human personality in the Bible. But what is surprising and what is staggering is that over 66 books written by 40 different authors over 1,500 years of history, the message is consistent. It's remarkable. The Bible meets its own standard, the Quran does not. Thirdly, you can test the Bible historically, where the Bible, particularly the New Testament, talks about history, names, places, dates, kings, rulers, this kind of stuff. You can compare what it says with what we know of the ancient world from other ancient writers and historians, and we see the Bible measures up. The Quran, on the other hand, is entirely disconnected from history. As Tarif Khalidi, a famous Muslim academic formerly of Cambridge University, once remarked, he said the Quran is meta-historical. It's not connected to history. Fourthly, and related, you can test the Bible using archaeology. When we go digging in the ancient Near East or in Palestine or in Israel, what we discover coming out of the ground very often matches what the Gospel writers in particular talk about. Archaeology can corroborate the Bible. It cannot do that for the Quran. And then lastly, and perhaps for me the most significantly, the Quran fails existentially. What do I mean? Well, the Quran says that human beings are basically good. All we need to do is keep God's commandments and the world will be okay. To which I say, look around you. Open the newspaper, turn on the news, look at the kind of state of the world around us. Are human beings basically good? No. There is something quite broken within us that we need to address honestly. The Quran doesn't do that. The Bible, on the other hand, is very honest about the human condition. It says that we are broken. It talks about the sin that has separated us from God and is damaging our relationships with each other and society, and it tells us what God has done in Jesus Christ to deal with the problem. The Bible stands up existentially. Those are 5 good reasons, and that I believe, to trust the Bible and not to follow the Quran.